Good evening and welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the think show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so-called African American didn't find his way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the Indigenous One. She's back, y'all. So when we had this woman on, she gives information that many of us are implementing into our daily lives. You know, not by we look, but by who we are. See, a lot of us, we like to look at ourselves as the face, the arms, the chest, the breast, the ass, all that. But that's just the outer you. That's nothing compared to who you really are. Your brain, your lungs, your throat, the way you sound, the things about you, what you think about, what you put out into the universe. Your face and your arms and all that exterior stuff is just to let you interface with the position you are on earth, with this realm that we're in now. Who you really are, you should really get to know that person. And it's you. It's the person who's hearing my voice. It's the person who can learn, who can think, all of that. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Deborah, Oklahoma. And since we're not in the 2-minute zone yet, I'm just going to let her tell you.
Don't be scared to say it.
No, I'm not scared to say it, but you know, you can't use that type of language in the first 2 minutes of your broadcast.
You can't. Okay.
But now it's after 2 minutes, so get that motherfucker out your house.
Really?
Oh, Deborah.
I mean, we do have to understand that. This is our land. This is our home. And there's a motherfucker in there. And he has been running this shit. He has been pimping us. And he has been pimping the womb out. That's one of the things that we want to talk about. Now, Carrie has allowed me to come on to talk to you about an event that's coming up. And that's the name of the event. It's called Get That Motherfucker Out Your House. And we have to understand, one of the things, and as I always tell you, if you see me looking this way, it's because I'm looking at my notes. So one of the things I have on my notes is the fact that this is an event. And you all have been asking me to do an event. Okay, hold on. I don't know why I got feedback. I don't know why I got feedback going on here. Hold on. I'm hoping it's not something I've done.
Peace, everybody in the chat. Selena, Knowledge Seeker, John, Nick, Delisha Hollingsworth, Lamont, everybody welcome. Hope you had a good weekend.
Halito, everyone. I can't see them up here on my side, but halito to all of you. Thank you so much for coming. But anyway, okay, I don't hear it anymore. So yeah, I do. But what I want to talk to you about is, you guys have been saying, when are you going to have this Womb Bearers Conference? Well, we're about to have it. It's going to be on the 29th at 6 p.m. on Zoom. And what we're going to talk about is how the womb must come together to kick this pimp out. Because I bet most of you know someone who has an overbearing man in their house. He's pimping out their kids. He's eating up their welfare money. He's doing all this shit to their kids. And then when the shit fall apart, the children are taught to say, hey, look what my mother did. My mother has really ruined our lives. So it's time for us to come together and say, we want to end this. We want to stop this pimp from ruining our families, ruining our lives. He's all up in our education system. Actually, it's his education system. We're all up in his education system. We're all up in his grocery store. We're all up in everything he has for us. We take it and we serve it to our children and our husbands and our families, and we put it up on the table and we say, now eat. And then when they throw the fuck up, we're like, well, what's wrong? And that's what we're dealing right now. We're dealing with families who are now throwing up and saying, "Mom, come on, Mom. How long you gonna let this pimp run our house?" Because in every house where there's a no good nigga, be he white, be he black, be he whatever color he is, it's the mama who got him in there. It's the mama who let him in there. It's the mama who turns her back and says, I'm gonna pretend he ain't fucking my son. It's the mama who won't look and say, you know what? I know you hit on my daughter. And I'm going to believe her when she tells me that you tried to have sex with her. It's the mama who is serving tainted food. It's the mama. Believe me. And I have women who dislike me for it. But it's the truth. And if you don't believe me, who gets kicked out when the shit goes right?
Right.
It's not the mama. It's the nigga. It always is. Because that's how this is set up. It's set up so you can continually to be pimped. And your man is not going to protect you as long as you're going to hold that pimp over his head. And it's time for you to get rid of that pimp now. Am I not right? Am I wrong here? Come on, y'all.
You right. You right.
So this event that we're having is a preliminary event to a year-long event. It's going to be 4 events. And the first event is going to be a counseling session. And so we're going to, not the preliminary event, that's everybody can come. Men, womb bearers, fertilizers, and I'm getting ready to change that name because I know a lot of men have had a problem with being called fertilizers, but I got a name for you. And I learned that from Chief Perryman, who I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. But in our next 4 events, we are going to have a counseling session where we get to talk and tell our stories, because I have a story about the pimp in our house. And when Gail talks, she has a story about the pimp in her house. And it doesn't, even if you have the greatest father in the world and the greatest mother in the world, believe me, if you're in the U.S. corporations or dead man, that's what I call it, it's a pimp in your house. Because you're eating the pimp's food and you're living the pimp's lie. Okay, so it's a pimp in your house. So after the second one, there'll be a third one. And in that third one, we're going to come together and we're going to begin to start to do our rituals. That was going to be the second one. And then there's a third one. And we're going to come together again. And we're going to plan this and make this work together. But the fourth one is, we're not going to do it on Zoom. The fourth one is going to be this fall. And I'm going to find somebody either with some land or some ground or somebody that is going to let us come on their land and do a ritual and ceremony. And it's going to be a copper ritual and ceremony. Now, how is that copper and ritual and ceremony going to work? For example, my friend Gail, she made me a copper pyramid. Well, she actually has someone to make it for her, but it's a copper pyramid. And I was a little skeptical of it, but once I got it in my house and I opened it up and put my energy on it, I said, let me get under this thing. Baby, my whole house energy changed. And it has been changing ever since. It has raised my vibrational frequency. It has raised the way I think. And so I said, we need to do this for all the wombs, Gail. We need to do this for everything. Now, there's this guy who we are courting right now. We want him to be our chief for our Mississippi clan. So I told him about the pyramid and he made him one. He's real good with his hands. He can make all kinds of stuff. And he called me and he said, you know, I wanted to try this pyramid. He said, but then I put it over my bed and slept under it. He said that energy was awesome. I mean, I'm going to have to let him tell you about it one day. So what we're doing on the 31st, this is just the three of us, me, him, and Gail. On the 31st, we're going to go outside with our pyramids. He's coming here to Georgia to do this with us. And we're going to have a ritual, a copper ritual and ceremony. Because I want you guys to see what it's all about. Yes, we do. We lose contact with them. And Gail and I have talked about that. That is one of the things the womb bearers have to correct. And we talked about the energy of that person. And our principal chief, Redman Perryman, we discussed this yesterday at the table. And he said, did you know our ancestors taught that the body, and that, you know, if I let me say, I may be paraphrasing because I didn't write it down. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to correct and make the exact words that he gave us. But the body is actually a life force entity of its own. And I know he's going to call me and say, clan mother, you got to give him the exact way I said it. But here's the thing. When you bury that body in a casket, it is the same as taking a seed and putting it in a box and put it in the ground. Everything that seed is supposed to do in the dirt, and especially if it's on the soil it originated from, it's going to work itself into doing whatever its star seed purpose was. So why did they bury our women and men, our womb bearers and our fertilizers in a box? Because that body still has some form of life and vigor, being vigorous in it. They don't want the person to come back in that same life. Let me tell you what I mean by that. And I've said to people over and over again, when I started to work into my starseed purpose, my memory started to come back on who I was in my past lives, which I have always been a counselor in my past lives, and I am a counselor even now. And I think I'm on my final cycle because we're going into the reset. And so I'm now going to go into the reset. This is really taking me off from where I'm supposed to be going, but I want to explain this to you. In our cycle, I believe we come back in that body. It's like a pear. A pear, when you put the seed in the ground, it doesn't come back an apple. It doesn't come back a horse. It comes back a pear. Think about that. When people say, oh man, I'm going to come back as a horse next time, or I'm going to come back as why would you come back as something you never were? So it's very important. There's more to it than that, but it's very important that we really acknowledge that if our ancestors are in a box, they may not have come back. Now, I can't guarantee that, but that is why I've always said, when I get the chance, I'm going to take my mother out of the ground and put her body in the ground. And as you see in what our ancestors did, they removed the organs. And I think some of them even removed the brain. And they put it in the ground, in the dirt, with the body of their loved ones. We didn't start this whole death ritual until we got with Columbus and his motherfuckers. See, he done pimped us in believing that we die. And we don't. We regenerate. Let me tell you something that I found out, because I found out not too long ago I had a fatty liver from all the medication I've been on all my life. And I was really, really upset about it. But I happened to get with one doctor who didn't lie to me. He said, you know, why haven't they told you that your liver will regenerate? All you got to do is take some vitamin E. And he told me all this stuff. I started taking that. And I went to the doctor the other day and I told him, I said, I really think this. And he came back. He said, everything about you came back perfect. He said, I thought we was going to find something. He said, your liver is perfect. Your kidneys are perfect. Because reiterate. So I hope that answers your question, Original One. I hope I helped. Now, let's get back to the prelim. We're going to do this copper ritual because we are copper people. And that is something besides gold that is prevalent on this soil. So we're going to do the first one. We're going to we're going to record it, and we're going to let you see it. Okay? The other thing is, we talked about one of the things I want you to see in this prelim. You're going to see how the U.S. patriarchy, you're going to see it for what it really is. You're going to learn to recognize how patriarchy is the pimp, and it was created by the U.S. corpse. That's why I call it a dead man. To produce, market, and distribute death throughout the world. His main mission, and I know you've heard this before, is to steal, kill, and destroy. One of the things we're going to talk about is something that's in the Bible, and he warned us. He said, the people who wrote that part of the Bible, I will utterly destroy you. The mother, the womb bearer, has to comprehend what the fuck that means. Now, when you look at utterly destroy, it means to wipe out totally, like you never existed. Now, you tell me, or ask yourself, or as they say in church, turn around to your neighbor and say, utterly destroyed, which means they are trying to wipe you out. Let me tell you how much they're trying to wipe us out. And you mothers have got to know this. They are literally killing wild horses. What do you think they want to replace them with? Artificial horses, cloned animals. They want to permeate your planet with cloned animals because they can't stand for you to be here on your own fucking planet. Come on, mamas.
Yeah, they cloning babies now.
Cloning babies. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Get with me here. Hear me here. Because you're going to get some real good information. When you come out of this event, you're going to be able to say, now I know what my purpose is with my family. It's not just to serve them a hot meal and send them to school and go get a job with the U.S. dead man. It's time for me to come out this motherfucker. And it's time for me to kick him out of my house. How do we do that? These are good questions. I swear I wasn't trying to go there today. Hold on, Delisha. Hold on. Let me finish talking about this, and I'll get back to you. So we know that his mission is to kill, steal, and destroy. He has killed our children. He has destroyed our families. He has definitely tried to steal our land, and we're getting ready to take that shit back. Utterly means, if you look up utter, utter means to speak in a whisper. This motherfucker has whispered an utterance of destruction against you. How has he done that? All you mothers. How has he done that? Let me tell you. He uttered it in the church. He uttered it in your education system. He uttered it on your cereal box. He uttered it on at the welfare office. Every place that he has tried to remove you from, he has uttered your destruction. He has written your history. And he has called you an African American, a Negro, a bitch, a hoe. What else has he uttered? And he's all on TV. He's showing everyone on TV. He has opened up your vagina and said, come on in. Tell me I'm lying. And you said, I have to do it now because I gotta feed my babies. Yes, come on, y'all. You know this true. I'm no indictment here. Shit, I've done it. I have to wake up too. I have to wake up like everybody else. But this is a wake-up call because we really need to get that motherfucker off our land, and we got to come together to do it. How many times have I ever said that the womb bear is the most, her cycle is the most powerful cycle in the universe when it comes to us on this planet? You get 10 womb bearers in a room, their cycle will align. They can't stop it. They can't even stop that from happening. That's how powerful the cycle of the womb bearer is. It automatically aligns. They'll come on the same day. They'll go off at the same time. If there's a woman in there who can attest to this or a womb bearer, please do. Please don't let me be a liar on Carrie Davis' show, on Buck's show. So what has he done? This guy, this pimp, he has trafficked our sons, our young. He has taught our household to testify against us. Is that not true? What do you think about that, Buck?
Oh, you only know what he tells you to do. See, that's the problem. That's the problem with us not thinking. We be saying stuff, and I see it with a lot of brothers. They be real high on all this religion and all this stuff. They don't know what the hell they talking about. When you ask them one question, they get to doing all that abba shit. No information is given. All the institutions that we have, they gave them to us. We don't build our own. We don't come up with our own dates. We don't come up with our nothing holidays for ourselves. Shit, we still celebrate New Year's in the winter. So you absolutely right. I'm with it. I hear you.
And isn't it us, the womb bearer, who constantly takes our own families into the 4th of July celebration? That's a ritual and ceremony of death against us.
You hear it every Star Spangled Banner song. They talking about bombing your ass.
Yes.
And we don't get it. We never get it.
We never get it.
And
we're aligning with them. We got people aligning with what Gail calls. Here's what the womb bearer does. As Gail says, we're aligning ourselves with, oh, damn it, Gail, what do you call it? Civil rights all-stars. We're aligning with the African Americans. But who are they? They are entities for the U.S. corporation. They belong to that U.S. corporation. That's a U.S. corporation construct. African American is a U.S. construct that we need to take out of our house. We shouldn't say it. We shouldn't speak it. We shouldn't give it ceremony. We shouldn't give it ritual. We shouldn't give it anything. Because believe me, what comes out of your mouth and drips off of your tongue goes into the ear of your children. And they go out here and they don't know that they are a nation and a band and a tribe from this land. And they call themselves African Americans, Black, Negro. These are dead names from a dead corpse oration. Look at the corporation. They're telling you they're dead. You got to get this dead ass pimp out of there. It's time for you to turn your own shit around, womb bearer. Now, you knew I was going to come to you with some fucking truth now, right? You know I wasn't going to pussyfoot. If anybody in that room who has seen me speak before know damn well I wasn't gonna come in here and talk, well, you know what y'all gotta do is, and I love y'all so much, but still, tie your shoes. No. Turn around and tell your husband and your children, we're gonna have to do something else because this pimp is killing us. And not only that, he got you hating me. My own family hates me. I'm the one. Listen, Womb Bear, what you're gonna learn. You're the one who set the tone in your house. Who do you think set the tone in this American house? He said, but I like when she talk like that too. Thank you, Black Light.
That's how you should be. That's how sisters, we should be talking all the time. When you learn something, you get something from it. Like that pansy stuff is whack.
Let me tell you something before I go on. And this is why this is so important to me. I have been courted by several other groups to be a clan mother in their group. Well, I chose to be with the Kusa Nation. We did put it up, and I am assistant clan mother to Alice Mae Henderson, who is the head clan mother of Kusa Nation. And I'm gonna tell you how important that is, because Kusa Nation is a nation of bloodline Kusa family members. The chief is a bloodline chief. These are bloodline people whose families was in what I won't use the term ancient, but they're in the Kusa. Let me tell you what I learned. Then I'm going to tell you why this is important. Why it's important for me to start coming to you. I'm not just going to come to you as Deborah Ishki Oklahoma anymore. I'm going to come to you as a head clan mother, head of state is what I've learned I am. And I'm going to come to you. You are my people. You are my blood. You are my blood. Because let me tell you something. Anybody that's telling you to join them, if they're dealing with Hebrew Israelites, West Africans, and Moors, and anybody else who did not come through this soil, they are not bloodline. They ain't your blood either. Now, I happen to love Hebrew Israelites because I've been in the Hebrew Israelite camps, but they came over here, I think in 500 BC, because we were doing world trade, and 70 AD, when they were being put in olive presses because they wouldn't accept Jesus Christ as their Lord. So they came here in refuge. So anyone that's telling you they're original to this land is dealing with the motherfucker. They're helping the motherfucker lie to you.
And again, we don't get it.
You are the naturally occurring autochthon of this land. And that's why I joined Kusa. Because their bloodline, this is what it says. It says, and the government, somebody said to me when they found out I had joined Kusa, they said, gee, I think they're one of the only ones that's actually known and recognized by the feds. That is true. And when I say recognized, I don't mean like them $5 Indians who need recognition and they're in the United States courts, dead. No. This is how it is. They are known by the United States as a pre-existing, I'm turning to my notes, pre-existing, time immemorial, state, federal, recognized and acknowledged, independent, sovereign, political entity. When you get with somebody and they say, come and join us, that's what you better ask them. You better ask them, are you recognized as a pre-existing, time immemorial? See, let me tell you something. Remember the mantra I gave you, and I said, I am, and I told you to say this, I am time immemorial. Do you remember that, Buck?
Yep.
See, I didn't just give you that mantra so you can just have it on your whatever. That's who you are. They can't date you. They can't tell you when you came here, and they're trying to tell you when you're gonna leave. But we're gonna fix that too, motherfucker. You'll be out of my house before I will. And that's what you have got to put in your mind and put in your head. You got to think time immemorial. You got to think bloodline before you join or let another motherfucker in your house to tell you who you are. Let me tell you about these motherfucking West Africans. Gail and I called the Uber, and the African pulled up, and he said, put on your mask. And I turned around. We were going to go put on our mask. And I turned around, I said, sir, we are putting on our mask. And Gail asked me something, and I said, oh, that's an African. And he said, yes, I am African, and so are you. Well, you know, come on, y'all. If y'all seen me before, you know, I kindly said, no, I'm not African. You are African. I'm telling you who you are. See, this is what this government motherfucker has done. He got people coming in your house declaring your heritage and your nation to you and who the fuck you are. And I said, no, I'm not from Africa. My people are from here, and they ascended from this soil. This is what my mother told me, and you can't tell me who I am. And he said, I'm telling you, I know you from Africa. Well, I said, motherfucker, who the fuck do you think you are coming on my land telling me who the fuck I am? And of course, Gail went, well, the motherfucker drove off. And you know what he put in? He put in Uber that he drove off because I refused to wear my mask. Because he ain't going to tell them I drove off because she refused to be African. See, this motherfucker is in your house, bringing strangers in your house. And these strangers are saying, open up your fucking pussy. I want to come in. Okay. Stop that shit. Listen to my voice. Stop that shit. People think that whoring is when you have more than one man. No, whoring is fucking out your bloodline.
Oh,
I studied it. Fucking out your bloodline. I've done it. I have to learn it. Stop it. Breathe in. Breathe in. If he ain't got a fat ass nose, full lips, nappy hair, motherfucker, don't come in this house. You can't come in here. Period.
It's that simple.
Too simple.
I want to put this dude's question up because I want you to hit on this.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Elaborate on the morals. Do they have any info or knowledge that would be of benefit to liberation? I mean, I feel there could be pieces of knowledge to set folk free. Just ask them. Well, the first thing you need to know is that liberation was never put here for us. Liberation is a term that was here for the white man because he was the slave. First, you got to get that in your pocket.
You think all these people, you think these white folks came over here and they wasn't slaves?
We agreed to let them come in here to work off their debt. And then they said, well, let's pimp them out now. So can they benefit our liberation? We don't need liberation. What we need to do is to look at those who we've liberated and we've been kind enough to let them on our land. And now they have overtaken us. They have overrun us. They don't deserve any freedom anymore, any liberation. So your second question, you feel there could be pieces of knowledge to set folk free. First of all, let me tell you something about the Moors. Did you know that they are first and second cousin to the Jews? Fact. Did you know it was the Moors and the Jews who bred a whole different race of people to breed you out? When is he our friend? I'm just asking. He's over here trying to take your land. He's not from here. Moors are from Morocco. They didn't ascend from this soil. They think they have some sort of land patent here or something that gives them the right to be here. If they have anything, it's with the U.S. Dead man. It's not. I don't remember signing shit. I don't remember any of my ancestors telling me I was a Moor. I don't remember growing up in a neighborhood with Moors. Do you? Some things are just common sense. Now, do they have knowledge? Yes, they do. Where did they get this knowledge from is what you should be asking. How come they have so much knowledge about how to get what they want in this country and we're just not waking up to it? If somebody walks in your house, and we are talking about the pimp in your house, if somebody walks in your house and know more about your house than you do after you just got through with your fucking nap, first of all, you should be saying, fuck, how long was I asleep? And number two, who the fuck are you? And how is it you know more about my own house than I do? Let me tell you why we don't ask the right questions. Damn it, y'all done took me off my spot. The Bible does this to you. There's a pastor, I think it was Lot and his wife, and these beings came down who was supposed to go and I think they were supposed to annihilate Sodom. I love Gail. That's Gail. There you go. Read it. And what happened? You took me off for a second. Okay, in the Bible, what did Lot's wife do when she saw them coming? See, we're so caught up on, and them angels came and they, Lot was going to give their daughters and they went and annihilated Sodom. But where's the real question here? How in the hell did she know who they were? Because obviously they didn't look like them. Right? So how is it we got a preacher coming into our house on a book that was written by our ancestors? Now they done changed it and now they want to interpret it to us. See, that's what's happening right here on our land. They want to interpret our own land and they want to tell you, we got to fight for our rights. Motherfucker, we gave you rights. Change your mind about your household, mama. Change your mind about your household. Because I'm going to tell you something I've said over and over again. Wherever the womb goes, that man is going to follow you. If you don't believe me, look at the church house now. I remember when he said, I ain't going up in there with that pimp. No, I ain't going. You can't see nothing but our men up in there, and half of them gay. Oops, what a motherfucker. What a mighty motherfucker we serve.
Is the church still going on now?
Maybe it's good. I don't know. I'm finding people coming out of it. There's a lot of people coming out of it because they're getting tired of their children getting fucked in the ass. Both of their children.
So pastor don't want the women no more, huh?
I don't think pastor ever wanted anything but money and any hole he could get. But I digress. You always make me digress.
No, but I think it's important because now, you know, they telling the people to get this jab.
And you know, it's mostly Christians that's getting it.
Yeah, I believe that.
And when I look at them, you know, I think to myself, aren't you the one who talks about the mark of the beast? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Right.
You should have been the first one to see this coming. You should be around telling everybody else. Know about that.
I mean, that.
But they bragging about taking it. They bragging about the jab. I'm confused. Really, that's that African American mindset. Whatever master say. You know, they're fighting. Here they are fighting to, should we have a statue for George Floyd? Or should we not have a statue for George Floyd? Well, you tell me how that's going to set my house free, then we can talk. But if we're just going to have another statue up here like everybody else is putting a fucking statue on this land, like, nobody looks like me or anybody in my household. So let's stop that. Let's stop that too. I'm going to get back to why I came here in the first place. Can I go? Can I do that?
Please do.
Okay, so near the end of the event, we're going to perform a ceremonial mantra. And I'm going to write the mantra. Well, actually, I've already written the mantra. And mantras are very important. I don't even know if you remember the last mantra. Yeah, I think it is part of the mark of the beast. I think it's not just, and by the way, how you doing, Lisa? I'm so good to see you. It's been wonderful to talk to you, and I can't wait for us to work together. I really can't. I just love the work that you do. What was that? What was that? I saw you do this. What was that for?
No, you know, nothing. I'm just rubbing my face.
Oh, scrubbing your face. I thought you was going to say move on.
No.
But anyway, yes, I agree with you, Lisa. It's exactly what I think it is. I think this mark is many events to come. And I think I said that before to somebody else, that this is just the beginning of the mark. It's just the beginning. The mark, what is a mark if we look at it? Because these motherfuckers have come over and said, we made our mark on this land, therefore it belongs to us. This mark of the beast didn't just start with that. It started some time ago. This is another segment of it. This is where they want to change the structure of who we are and the structure of what's on this planet. See, because they can't change the planet. But what they want to do is take all our talk in this life and they want to restructure it into their artificial intelligence or their artificial life. Because see, we don't die and they do. So they want to make sure they have shit on here that dies like them. But it doesn't come back because it never, ever reaches past heaven. It's so much I've learned talking to Perryman. He's taught me so much. I'm going to teach it to you. One of the things we're going to learn on this event, I'm going to try to stick with it. One of the things we're going to learn on this event, you've heard me talk a lot about the universe. And I always talk about how we should seek the universe for answers and how we do certain things, right? Let me tell you what, and I just found this out. So this is what you're going to learn. The name of the universe is, let me get it right. Let me get it right. I know Chief Pyramid is going, come on, clan mother. Get it right. Fukkha. So when we call on her now, I no longer call her the universe. I call her by the names that the Muskegee, that's from the Muskegee language, That is Choctaw, Chickasaw, Seminole, Natchez, and Muskogee Creek. That's what we call the universe. Fukkha. So from now on, when I say universe, hear my voice, I will say Fukkha.
Can you spell that?
It's spelled by the European Ibofanga.
Fukkha.
No, it's E. They put an I because that's how but it's pronounced Funka. And that's why a lot of our musicians came up with the word funk. P-funk, funk this.
Make my funk to P-funk.
Now it's funk.
Okay.
So I wanted to let you guys know that when you get the mantra, that is the name that you will see on the mantra. Here's another thing. And I'm so glad to know this because I no longer have to call you guys womb bearers and fertilizers. Here's what the name of the males are. And I hate that term, males, because that's really a term for animals. Kanati.
Spell it.
Kanati. That is the earthly male.
Kanati.
And the other one is Yahola. That's the spiritual male.
Spell it.
Y-A Yahola. Y-A-H-O-L-L-A.
That's the what male?
Spiritual. In other words, you know, there's a whole world. It's a spiritual world, right? Okay, so this is the I think the male part of the Fukkha. So when we speak to the Fukkha, see, a lot of people think when I've been talking like, you know, the womb bearer and the universe as a she. I've spoken as the womb bearer as a womb. I'm sorry, the Fukkha as a womb, because that's how everything comes through her. And it comes through our soil. But there's the fertilizer side as well. And I'm going to learn more about this, and I'm going to start teaching on this. And I'm asking Chief Perryman to also teach on it as well, because these are the things we need to know, our culture. Because we need to kick this motherfucker out. He's brought a culture of death into our homes, and we need to get rid of it. We need to know our culture of life. This is why we are mentally ill. And Chief Perryman and I talk about that a lot, because we have a foreigner over here who is claiming to be us, and he's brought his rituals over here, and we're doing his rituals on our land. Here's what you have to know, and I want to talk about this someday. I'm really getting some information on this. This soil expects us to perform the rituals and ceremony that is correct for this soil and this land, and the soil recognizes us. But when we start doing everyone else's rituals and claiming it as ours and that it belongs to this soil, we will experience mental illness.
Amen.
And this is something that we have learned and something that we want to talk about. Part of our mental illness is because we're constantly seeking everyone else's culture and grabbing onto it as if it's ours. Half the shit that those motherfuckers wear, and I did the research myself, the ribbons, these big ass fucking earrings and feathers down it, that's not us. That's them. If you go back and look at that Siberian and look, and I have some documentation on it. A lot of that comes from him. He's always in the spirit world trying to come against us. And then when he's done, he got to smudge himself and I got to get that off of me. Well, if you're doing what you're supposed to do in your own culture, you don't have to smudge. Because you are a child of the Fukkha. Now, let's talk about the womb bearers. They're called Ouchi or Selu for Muskegee. No, Selu for Creek, Ouchi for Muskegee. And that's really important because we're going to start using our own language and our own culture and our own. Listen, the universe said to me, Deborah, you have got to come out of the language of the Patriarchy because it is a language of death. Little did I know that there was a matriarchal language. It's the language of the matrix. They've got their patriotic, I can't call it a womb because it's not a womb. So I'll just call it an ass. They've got their patriotic ass all over our planet, and we're playing house with it. And then when we get to shit, we're surprised. Nothing else can come out of an ass but shit. You can boink it. I won't say fuck because Perry may be watching. I know he might want me to calm down a little bit as clam mother, but well, I'll work on it. You can't get nothing out of an ass but shit or blood. That's why he's got to go. That's exactly why. And I'm telling you, we have got to now begin to absorb the language of the matrix. These are the things that the universe or the Fukkha has been speaking to me, Deborah. Bring the people into the language of the matrix. Well, that's not what I'm getting in Accomack. We do all have our own words, but the matrix is the ones who has set us here. And she has her own language. And we must begin to speak that language. We must begin to speak that language because it is her language. And that's how she responds. So this is what I'm going to teach people. I'm going to teach everyone. If you want Fukkha to respond to you, if you want to manifest your image that you're sending her, Fukkha, then you should learn her language. Because any other language, and that's the language where we begin to hear and speak to each other telepathically, for lack of a better term. That is the language where we begin to see the same images that she sends us at the same time. This is where we become unified in her womb. Because it's her language. And I have to go with that because that's what she's telling me. And that's what she's telling me to tell you. And we're going to have, and that's what I'm doing. And I'm watching it change us. I'm watching when we speak the words of the matrix under the copper, how it has changed the energy in my apartment, how it has changed the energy around this building, how it has changed even the energy of the other people who are coming and speaking to me. It is changing us because we must speak. Remember when I said the whole world was of one language? That's when the universe said yes, because they were speaking my language. And that beast said, let us go. And do what? Do you remember? They didn't have any land, so they had to go steal some. They didn't have a language, so they had to create many languages. And that's how they confused us. Think about it. It's right there in the Bible. Let us confound their language. And now we speak in many, many different languages. And we don't even understand half of what we fucking say. How many of us really understood that when they said we will utterly destroy you, that they would narrate your destruction in the Bible, in a book, in a history? How many of us understood that? You know why? Because we don't know this fucking language. It doesn't belong to us. It was devised for your death. Just saying.
You know what trips me out?
What?
The people who try to talk it like it's theirs. Well, the significance of the problem is, they use those big words when they talk. Negroes who try to sound, like it's their language. But you're right. The language confounds.
It confounds. And yes, we're not all the same nation. Why? Because there's only one nation on this continent. One. And when this government tells you, this is a nation over here and that's a nation over there, well, if they're not aboriginal to a land on this continent, they ain't a nation. I don't give a fuck who they are or what they say. Or they could say, well, I come from the nation of blah, blah, blah. Motherfucker, did your people come through the soil? Because if they didn't, you ain't a nation. And I have to tell that African, like Gail marvels at me sometimes when we go out. And my son says to me, Mom, you walk around like you better than everybody else. I used to be upset about that until I realized, yeah, I am better. I ain't ashamed of that. I don't want you to be ashamed of that. That's how you get that motherfucker out your house. One of the things I'm going to teach you, by the way, is how to use the energy of shame to change your house. Damn it, let me get back to what I was talking about. Because we only got 30 more minutes. Near the end of the event, we will perform a ceremonial mantra. You can purchase the mantra package on Eventbrite or the online store. And I'm going to give you more information about that. The mantra package is optional. The United States Corporation is the motherfucker. These are the things you're going to learn. Who is the motherfucker exactly? The U.S. as Patriots. How this dead man runs his pimp operation. Here's one I really want you to learn. Pimp anthropology. The American womb bearer as matrix. Here's what you're going to learn, and this is going to be a big part of our mantra. And I know you've heard this. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Okay, here's what you're going to say. For mine is the queendom and the power and the glory for eternity. Time to reset the matrix. The cycle of unity, the mantra of the matrix. Now, this is only a section of what you're going to learn. Why am I inviting men to come to this event? Because this is something I learned as a clan mother. The clan mother, like any womb bearer in her house, strategizes, put the shit together, put it in the hand of the chief, and they fulfill that mission. Your man ain't fulfilling your mission because your mission then kicked his ass out. That's the language of the Patriots. Kick him out. I'm better than him. Your chief is gone. You better go get that chief. Better go get him. So
makes sense to me.
Huh?
I said, makes sense to me.
Really? Really? I'm serious.
Because the other way hasn't worked at all.
And it's never going to work. It was designed not to work.
Right.
So that's it. Any questions?
Let me get a couple of minutes. See if somebody asks a question. But yeah, you're right. we just keep following other people, and we don't have nothing set in stone for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
But you know what? I will tell you this. There's the conference is going to be it's really going to be good. But here's the thing: I'm asking everybody to get this packet. I'm going to show it to you. Hold on for a second. And this is back here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. In this package comes there's a herb that comes in this package. Oh, there we go. And this is a grounding herb that I put together myself. It has all of the herbs and more of what we used when we did a ritual. And in that ritual, all the womb bearers, literally, I called one of them and somebody else called me. We were all crying at the same time. We actually unified under this herb. So that's going to be in the packet. The packet is $45. If you buy this online, it's $35. The packet is $45. What you are also going to get is the mantra. This is the mantra. And I'm not going to open up, but it is in here. It's going to be a scroll. It's going to come to you in this here, and you're going to get this leaf. Let me tell you why this leaf is important. You can just wear it around your neck. You can. But this leaf is going to do something more. Feather, I'm sorry, I keep saying leaf. This feather is going to do something more than just be a feather. Let me tell you how to use this feather. Hold on for a second. What did I do with mine? I have mine and how I wear it. Oh, here's mine right here. When I do a mantra, and I'm using this mantra because you remember this mantra, you're familiar with this mantra. This is the mantra where we talk to the universe. When I wear my jewelry, let me take this off. When I wear my jewelry, and I'm like, say, if I do a ritual for a week, I put a scent that reminds me of that particular ritual. And this is the feather. Now, here's the thing. You will also get a dram of the emotif oil to put on your feather and with this ball, and you carry it around you or you wear it. You can wear it when you're doing a ritual and a ceremony.
I want to answer this question by Damaric Ballard.
Okay, I will.
How do we as a people get recognized by the government? They already recognize you. They're shooting you in the ass every day. Or how do we come together and make our own? Is that what we even need at this point in time? But I want to answer that with the next question you ask. And this is that. And this is simple. How do we take back the power? Simple. Stop giving it away. It's that simple. And every time somebody comes up on you and shows you anything, you take it. You will pay 10 times more than what it's worth. You see these houses they building, and we just trying to keep running away from ourselves. It don't work. So, some of the things Sister Ishki be saying, she be on it because it's real. What you say? You don't have nothing to say about your history.
Yeah.
Nothing to say about your people. Anybody can come tell you anything about it, and you break your neck trying to learn it. Look at those Negroes chasing them at that African story. For real, cuz?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. And that is one of the reasons I joined the Kusa Nation, because it is your blood that ties you to this land. And they're a bloodline Kusa. Their families have been Kusa since time immemorial. And that is why I joined. So I'm going to go back to the first question. Let me talk to him about this first question, if you don't mind. Do you remember it?
Mm-hmm.
Go back to it. Okay, Demeric, I'm gonna give you a phone number to call, and I'll talk to you about it. It says, how do we as a people get recognized by the government? That word is twofold, because there are something that I've learned here is what these Native Americans are trying to do is to be entitled as Aboriginal. So there's a political Aboriginal, which in my case is bullshit. And there's the Aboriginal of the soil and the land. That's the only real Aboriginal. Okay. So when people are looking for recognition under the United States Corporation, they're looking to get into the United States Corporation because the United States Corporation thinks they're going to continue to give our land away and piece it out to whoever the fuck they want to. Organizations like the family I'm with, the Kusa I'm with, they are, when I say recognized, it's a different type. It has been acknowledged in the United States that this is an original bloodline to this soil. That's the kind of recognition you want. You don't want to be in part of this corporation recognition. Oh, now they're going to give me some land and they're going to give me. No, these motherfuckers can't give you shit. And everybody who's been gifted with our land is going to find that out sooner or later. So that's number one. Getting recognized by the government is that can be twofold. That can play out bad for you, or if you're looking to be acknowledged as part of a bloodline that owns this planet, that is something else. That is why I joined the Kusa. You can give me a call. We'll talk more about that. How do we come together and make our own? That is another thing that we have been working on for the past 2 years. Chief Perryman and I have been talking back and forth for damn near 2 years about making our own. And we have some pretty good shit going on right now that you might want to be a part of. We just haven't come out and talked about it because it had to be in the works. And then I was inducted in as the assistant clan mother. Is that what we even need at this point in time? Now, I'm not sure what he means by that. But do we need to come together? Do we need to be recognized by them? Like I said, that's twofold. That may be something you really need to speak to someone about who is knowledgeable about who you are as a bloodline person to this soil. Because everybody else is going to be surprised when the time comes for them to relinquish our land. Because this government is auctioning off land like it owns it. They don't. They don't own it. So you might want to consider that. I hope I helped.
You did. Well, Deborah, I just want to say thank you for coming on again. You know, the door is always open.
Thank you.
You're always welcome. Could you give where they can contact you?
Yes, you can contact me. Look, I got a new phone number. I have to give it to you. I'm not sure if I remember it. Hold on. Look, you should know your own phone number, Deborah. But I have a new phone number. It's to my office. It's 248-763-4925. Because some of you know I did move to Georgia.
4529
4925.
4925.
248-765. Now I'm going to ask him also is because I finally got my own YouTube channel and I'm going to do my first live next week. If you type in Deborah Ishki, Oklahoma in YouTube, it will come up. Please subscribe so that you will know when I'm going to do my next Facebook Live, because I'm going to start talking about some very important things. I'm actually going to be mother. I'm actually going to be Ishki, and I'm going to help.
Cool.
Okay, I'm not sure what that is. So I'm sure you know.
I mean, I think she was talking to somebody in the chat. Cool.
Oh, okay.
Well, Ishki. That's what I like to call you.
That's what everybody calls me.
Well, thank you for sharing tonight.
You're welcome.
And we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Chipi Salat Chike.